Hello, hello, hello. I thought I'd do something a little different today, so definitely let me know if you like this. Um, I just thought maybe I would read to y'all one of my favorite books growing up. I have a miniature version of it that I keep at the house, and I'm always amazed at the number of people who've never heard of this book. So you have to let me know whether or not you've heard of it. It's one of Dr. Seuss's lesser known books, and it's called The Sneetches. And usually it's in a bigger format, but it's always The Sneetches and Other Stories because there's a couple of other short stories in here. Um, but I love this one. It was one of my favorites. But Sneetches, and the Sneetches are these guys right here. They're like big old birds, big yellow birds, long necks. Some of them have stars on their bellies. So let's get into it, and definitely let me know if you like this. Um, Let me know your favorite book growing up. I'd love to hear that. Okay. Now the star-bellied Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-bellied Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big. They were really so small. You might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. So here is what I was talking about. There's some without stars and there's some with stars, right? But they're both Sneetches, right? Okay. But because they had stars, all the star-belly Sneetches would brag, "We're the best kind of Sneetch on the beaches." With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort. "We'll have nothing to do with the plain-bellied sort." And whenever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd saunter straight past them without even talking. So these are the ones with the stars, and they think they're better than the ones without the stars, right? Kind of rude. When the star-bellied children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? Not at all. You only could play if your bellies had stars, and the plain-bellied children had none upon theirs. So these poor Sneetches without the stars had to be left out of the games because the star-bellied Sneetches only let other star-bellied Sneetches in the game. Kind of sad. When the Starbelly Sneetches, when the Starbelly Sneetches had Frankfurter roasts, or picnics, or parties, or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the plain-belly Sneetches. They left them out cold in the dark of the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near, and that's how they treated them year after year. So, here are the Starbelly Sneetches with their Frankfurter roast. And all the ones without stars out here all cold on the beach. Then one day it seems, while the plain-belly Sneetches were moping and doping alone on the beaches, all out here, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. Look at him. What's he driving? What a crazy-looking car. "My friends," he announced, in a voice clear and keen, "my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and I've heard of your troubles. I've heard you're unhappy. But I can fix that. I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you. I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work at great speed, and my work is 100% guaranteed." So what do you think he's going to offer the plain belly Sneetches? Any ideas? Then quickly Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine. And he said, "You want stars like a star-belly Sneetch? My friends, you can have them for $3 each." So he made a machine that will give you a star on your belly. Isn't that crazy? Let's switch sides. "Just pay me your money and hop right on aboard." So they clambered inside, and the big machine roared, and it clonked and it bonked and it jerked and it burked and it bopped them about, but the thing really worked. When the plain belly Sneetches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon theirs. So they're sorry, I was really close to you guys. But they were all really excited to get stars now, right? because they've gone so long without having stars. So let's look at that machine a little closer. You pay them the money, you go in, you come out with stars. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars at the start. We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties, and now we can go to your Frankfurter parties. So they are showing up to these guys who had the stars to begin with, and you can't tell them apart. What do you think they're going to do? Good grief, groaned the ones who had stars at the first. We're still the best Sneetches, and they are the worst. But now how in the world will we know, they all frowned, if which kind is what or the other way around? So now they're really confused because they still think they're better than everyone else. But there's no way for them to really know. So what do you think they're going to do? Then up came McBean with a very sly wink. And he said, things are not quite as bad as you think. So you don't know who's who, and that's perfectly true. But come with me, friends. Do you know what I'll do? What do you think he's going to do? I'll make you again the best Sneetches on the beaches, and all it will cost you is $10 eaches. Belly's stars are no longer in style, said McBean. What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars, so you won't look like Sneetches who have them on theirs. And that handy machine, working very precisely, removed all the stars from their tummies quite nicely. So he made a machine to take off stars. So now the people, I guess they're not people, the Sneetches who had stars to begin with, still wanted to act like they were better than everyone else. So now they don't want stars. So they're going to go through, take off their stars so they can tell each other apart again. This guy's clever. Talk about making money. Opportunist. Okay. Then, with snoots in the air, they paraded about, and they opened their beaks, and they let out a shout. We know now, we know who is who, and there is no doubt. The best kind of Sneetches are Sneetches without. So now it's in style to have no star, and they're letting these other guys who just put stars on know. Then, of course, those with the stars all got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then, of course, old Sylvester McMonkey McBean invited them into his star-off machine. Then, of course, from then on, as you probably guessed, things really got into a horrible mess. Look at this chaos. Look at the crazy. Look at these. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. All the rest of that day on those wild screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up Sneetches. Off again, on again, in again, out again. Through the machines they raced round and about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money, they kept running through, until neither the plane nor the starbellies knew whether this one was that one, or that one was this one, or which one was what one, or what one was who. So now they're just confused, and they're giving this guy all of their money. Look how much money he has. He's sitting over there with all their money, and these people, these Sneetches, are so confused, just in and out of these machines. Crazy. Look at him. Look how happy he is with all their money. Let's take a look. Then, when every less... These Sneetches crack me up. Then, when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up and he went. And he laughed as he drove in his car up the beach. They never will learn. No, you can't teach a Sneetch. So basically, none of them have money anymore. They don't know who had stars, who doesn't. Who did, who didn't. And this guy made off with all their money. Let's read that again. They never will learn. No, you can't teach a Sneetch. But McBean was quite wrong, I'm quite happy to say, that the Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches and no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches. That day all the Sneetches forgot about stars and whether they had one or not upon Mars. So here we have a starbelly Sneetch and a plain belly Sneetch and a starbelly Sneetch and a plain belly Sneetch, and everyone's getting along. They're smiling. They're not acting like they're better than each other. Isn't that nice? So anywho, you might be able to guess there's some good takeaways with this, right? So what it's trying to tell us is that we're all the same. We might look a little different, but we're all worthy of love and worthy of respect, and we're all basically the same on the inside, and that we need to treat each other well, and that nobody's better than anybody else, and we need to focus on what we have in common instead of what we don't have in common, and we need to be good to each other. And so this was one of my favorite ones growing up. I always loved the Sneetches, and there's other, other stories, so I could do some of the other stories sometime if y'all like being read to. I can maybe do a couple of other ones, or I could do a couple of other stories. If you had anything from your childhood or that you currently like, that's an easy read. Maybe I could read you some more. But let me know if you liked it. I have never really read to people like this, being recorded before like this, so I hope I did a good job showing the pictures and trying to read the tiny print. This one was abnormally small, so I'm sorry about that, but hopefully it was a good bedtime story for you. Let me know if you like this, or let me know if you want to see more, and I will see you next time, okay?